Welcome to the Ronald McDonald House. This is where your journey begins. My name is Lisa Pakula. I'm the Executive Director of Ronald McDonald House Charities of Northeast Indiana. In 1974, the first Ronald McDonald House was built in Philadelphia. Eagles football player Fred Hill and his wife Fran had a little girl, Kimberly, who had leukemia. Fred and Fran saw the other parents and they were no place to sleep, no place to get food, all trying to be there to support their ill child. So Fred went back to the owners and the managers of the Philadelphia Eagles and said that there's a need and we have to do something. They went to their good friend Ray Kroc, and that is when McDonald's became involved to form Ronald McDonald House Charities. Today, there are over 300 houses serving the families every night. Like Fred Hill, Parkview Hospital saw a need for accommodations for parents as well, for the patients at Parkview Hospital. It follows along their whole philosophy of family-centered care. So in 2002, they opened the first Ronald McDonald House inside Parkview Hospital with the help and the partnership of McDonald's Restaurants and Ronald McDonald House Charities of Northeast Indiana. Since those doors opened January 16th, we've served over 1,000 families a year, and many faces and names have come to mind throughout that time and have passed through our doors.
Hello, my name is Josh Johnson and this is my wife Julie, and we're here to tell our story about our experience with the Ronald McDonald House while my son Nathan was in the hospital.
My son was only 3 days old and he was having difficulty breathing, and his lips got all blue and he was just shaking, and you know, after a completely normal pregnancy and a completely perfect birth, it was just really shocking, and we stepped into this crazy, you know, beeps everywhere and everything just chaotic in the ICU. When we first stepped into the Ronald McDonald House, it was like a whole nother world. It was just a place of peace and solace apart from the chaos of the hospital. It almost felt like we weren't in the hospital anymore. It was like a home, and I wanted to cry. As soon as I set foot in there, I was amazed that this was a place that we could come away to. This was a place that my husband and I could connect in a way that there was no way we could connect within the walls of the hospital. Our little boy, Nathan, it was just difficult to be in there. At times we needed to get away, and we needed to get away but not too far away. We wanted to be close to him, and so that was one of the big benefits of having the Ronald McDonald House right there in the hospital. When we first went there, we decided to take some time in the little quiet room in the McDonald House, and my husband and I just got to first just unload everything and really just connect for the first time. And if we had not had that time, I really don't know how I would have been, because it was just so refreshing and renewing. It really gave us strength to continue on during our son's 10-day stay in the ICU.
You get kind of set in your ways and your views of what life really is, and you get caught up in the routine of life. And when things like this happen, it really catches you off guard. And I think one of the biggest things that I took away from this is, you know, I've always seen Ronald McDonald things posted up and donation type things, but I couldn't connect with that. We were faced with a need that day and faced with an awesome thing for us that was completely provided by no effort of our own. We just arrived there and fully received, you know, meals and a place to stay and just a place that we could rest and connect with each other. Somebody really had an idea of how to bless someone, that they were in a similar situation. And we got to partake and receive in that blessing, so we're grateful.
Hi, my name's Pam Finning, and this is my daughter Carly. September 28th was a very important day in our life. It was the day that my son Trevor, was in a serious accident in which left him as a paraplegic. Right away we were given the bad news that he would be paralyzed and most likely for the rest of his life. So the first night we stayed in the waiting room of the hospital on a makeshift chairs, whatever we could do to try to get comfortable so that we could be right there with the ICU situation. So we didn't sleep very well that first night with all the shock and just the uncomfortable situation there. But one of the most wonderful things about our stay was someone, one of the nurses, suggested that we check out the Ronald McDonald House. And at that time, I didn't even realize there was a Ronald McDonald House at Parkview, so I was really happy to hear that he, because of his age, that we would be able to stay there. It was a really big breath of fresh air for us. It's coming from that whole starkness of the hospital scene. It was very bright and cheery. It smelled like brewed coffee. It always smells like brewed coffee, and there were cookies on a plate, and it was a very, very homey environment that just was like receiving a big hug.
While Mom was staying at the Ronald McDonald House, we also received lots of gifts from friends and family in the form of food or snacks, and so it was nice to be able to keep them somewhere. It felt like having your own kitchen and living room attached to the hospital, so you could just walk right there. You didn't have to go park again. You didn't have to drive somewhere else.
It was just nice to be able to step back and get away without actually going outside the facility.
My journey with Ronald McDonald House began January 16th, 2002. It's the day we opened the doors. Since that time, thousands of families have stayed in the Ronald McDonald House. We've celebrated with them. We've had hugs, we've had tears. We've celebrated when they go home and they're healed. I'm a mom. My kids have grown up during this period of time, and I realize at any given point, that could be me. I could be that parent. So the journey began, and the journey continues. Help hope grow in the house that love built.